So hello YouTubers, it is of course me, Trollface the Man, and welcome back to another, this isn't really a Patreon early release video, it's just a video I am doing in general. I apologize, you may notice that I haven't been making new content recently, and there's a very good reason for that. Somebody poisoned our family dog. Somebody wanted to try and break into a detached garage on our property, and apparently they thought that they would poison our dog so that way our dog doesn't, I don't know, attack them or bark or whatever. And they did this about a week and a half ago. We already filed a police report and everything. Caesar spent quite a bit of time in critical care. He was just released from the hospital about 3 days ago after he had to get a blood transfusion because he had lost so much blood. His hematocrit went down to about 14%. The good news is we took him back today and his hematocrit's up, his platelets are up, and they expect him to make a full recovery, which thank you Lord that that was the case. But been very preoccupied with that. Hopefully you guys can understand that was a very tough situation. But I wanted to do a just quick video of something I thought was kind of interesting, which is today I'm going to take some raw amber and I'm going to polish it into something that looks a little bit better, and I'm going to show you both of these in just a minute. If you guys know my PCRT series, it's where I take something and I react with potassium chlorate and see basically how it works, you know, what type of reaction it has, and somebody suggested amber, so I decided to pick up some amber and to test it out. So I got some amber from Poland, which is actually where my family was originally from, well, at least about a third of my family. And this is raw Baltic amber, which in its raw state, it's not much to look at. So I'm gonna zoom in here for you. This is raw amber. And it feels just like pieces of plastic. If you never felt amber before, hopefully you can get indication by how it sounds when it hits each other. But, wrong way. But it is, if I take this piece, you should be able to see that it is semi-opaque and ripe to be polished if we do it in the right way. Some of the pieces are better looking than others. Like for example, this one is pretty dark. To see what I had some raw pieces from that same batch. And like I said, I got this because I was supposed to test it for PCRT, but I figured I might as well get a little bit extra, and I wanted to polish it up and see how I can make it look as a demonstration of the amber for the video, because the raw amber isn't anything special to look at. So here is one piece out of there that I managed to polish up, and I'll post the before picture, which was nothing at all special to look at, and I will post an up-close photo of this using my camera so you can see what it looks like now. But it is a actually very beautiful piece now. I'm extremely satisfied with how, you know, coming out. It doesn't look like that. It looks like this is getting washed out in the camera there. But yeah, it's a very beautiful piece. And here's another piece that I end up getting from that same batch that I end up polishing up. And, oops, a daisy. And I'm making look pretty good, in my opinion. Get the camera. It doesn't look like it's going to focus very well. I'll get pictures of it all though, so that way you guys can see. But a very, very beautiful piece of amber. So today I'm going to show you my basic process of turning stuff like this into stuff like this. And it's extremely simple, doesn't require any special tools. The piece of amber I'm going to do this on today is this piece. It looks like it was a corner that they end up cutting. So it has flat edges on it. And yes, I have already tested this. This is real amber. One of the ways to test it, and I've tested it a couple of different ways, one of the ways to test it is to see whether or not it fluoresces under UV light, and it should fluoresce between like a red to like a greenish color, which this does. I will once again get some pictures of that to show you guys. But this has like a greenish, orangish color to it. It's It's actually pretty cool to look at. Like I said, I'll get some pictures to show you guys that. But another way is it doesn't get cold. If you put it in the freezer, certain chemicals don't react to it, such as alcohols, or at least not as much as if it was the preceding stages of amber, which it slips my mind right now. Copal, I think it's called. It might not be, though. It slips my mind. And just basically did a couple of different tests and had no issues with it. Plus the supplier is supposed to be good. Like I said, it looks like this is where they cut it, so I have really nice flat edges here. The basic steps to this is extremely simple. I have some sandpaper here. This is 320 grit, and literally I'm just going to use this sandpaper to shape this the way that I want. And this is going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to shape this smooth, this smooth, this smooth, maybe a little angle right here, and then shape this side smooth. So this will take a bit of time, and I'm not going to do that as a live demonstration in the video, but what I will do is I will shape it for the most part and then come back with you. And this amber is so soft, it actually can be polished using cloth. So like you can literally take a cloth and just keep rubbing it and polish it, which is the way I got this like really nice polish on these two. Though I did use a little bit of beeswax at the end, which is optional, but it gives it a little extra sheen. So I am going to spend a fair bit of time shaping this. Then after it has the general shape, I am going to come back and show you guys the polishing step. But really, nothing too crazy involved in this. This stuff is pretty much just like a very hard plastic, and it's very easy to sand. You can see I already sanded off a lot of material that's going to be saved for the potassium chloride reaction test, because I needed to get basically well, powder to test with. And basically I can tell when things have been sanded flat, when you can see that while sanding the whole surface turns white. You see, like right here, that isn't quite white, but it might be flat enough for me to polish anyways with the cloth. What we don't want is we don't want like super deep pits like you can see right here. This is going to have to be sanded quite a bit to get it to be at the point where I want it. So I'm going to have to take off a ton of material right here, and also, like I said, on the tops and sides and different things. But this is going to lose a lot of its size by the time I'm done. But I think it's going to turn out really nice, hopefully, fingers crossed. So, gonna get to it. So I've already done a fair bit of work on this piece, shaping it. It's still gonna have a good bit more on it, but you can see like I flattened out, this is the side that looked kind of barky, flattened this out, and I did a couple of things like right here, instead of having a sharp corner, I did a rounded edge here to save more material, because if I would have had to probably cut it down to all the way down here, you know, I would have lost all this material like this if I didn't round the corner. So that was a decision of mine to round the corner. But one of the things is that rounding the corner, it's hard not to get sharp edges. So you can see these lines right here. What I actually do is if I have a sharp edge, like I can feel one right here, I line it up, and then you can see that basically I'm drawing lines. Swipe, feel where it is, draw another line with it, so on and so forth. And basically all I'm doing is I'm slowly working out those edges with these lines, and then eventually I can try and work it a little bit rounded like that. But like I said, I'm going to go with a smooth edge here, and then the biggest thing right now to overcome is this big pit right here without trying to waste too much more material. So, and this chip right here doesn't look the best either, so I might try and take that down a bit. But it's already coming pretty good. I think this is going to be a nice looking piece when it's done. I just want to try and get rid of these stress fractures, or whatever you want to call them, pops right here and here if I can. So I'm going to continue working on it. As you can see, I had taken off a fair bit of material. Fun fact, when you sand this, it almost smells like old trees. Not too surprising. Some people actually burn amber as a incense, and I can see why. So with this piece right here, I've gotten most of the shape that I think I'm going to stick with here. I try and go with a more natural contour if possible. I had used a couple of different angles, like angling here to get out that chip in the corner, and then angling here to try and get that big chip out there. If I were to have went with a straight cut or a straight sand, I would have lost about this much extra material. So by going with this angle, I'm able to get that chip out of there. You can still see a little bit of a fracture mark, but I'm not so bothered by that because you can't actually feel it. I was able to save a lot of the extra material, and I did that in a couple of different places. Like I said, up here, did it over here, and there might be some work I'm still going to do with these edges. I'm going to see if I can polish them without having to sand them flat, because like I said, I like going with the more natural style. And you can see that I actually left tree bark embedded right here, here. And sure, I could take it and I could sand it completely flat to get rid of that, but I actually am a fan of leaving it in, just like right here too. I'm a fan of leaving it in because the sort of natural imperfections, I think, is what actually makes this amber so cool. Because like for right here, you can see that these black lines are actually either dirt or bark that has been embedded into the amber. And this one is really cool. This one actually has a huge piece of bark embedded in there, and I'm very, very happy with how this one came out. Like I said, I like those imperfections. Sure, I could have had like a perfect piece, you know, if I wanted to. It would have been small and it wouldn't have had very much character to it. I love how this has, like I said, that bark embedded right in there, and it looks just gorgeous. So I want to show you guys something real quick, which is how soft this amber is. So I have this amber here, and if I take something like this is just a ordinary cloth and I rub it, that takes a bit of effort, but you should be able to see that that's already starting to shine a little bit more. And literally, you can just take amber like this and just cloth polish it. Here, let me use this. Yeah. So like I said, hopefully you can see that compared to the sides that haven't been polished is already starting to take on a lot more of a sheen. But there's a faster way of polishing it, which is, funny enough, using toothpaste, which I'm going to show here. But for the most part, if you really, really wanted to and you didn't want to use toothpaste, you can go through the process of just cloth polishing it, which this one originally, that's what I did. I literally just cloth polished the entire thing. In toothpaste, they have fine fragments of hydrated silica, and the idea is that the hydrated silica acts as an abrasive to help clean off your teeth. It basically helps strip tartar and stuff like that off your teeth, and it's very, very fine, so it's good for a polish. So if you take some of the toothpaste and you put it on a cloth and you like use that to polish with, which I'll show you how I do it here in a minute, but you can use that to actually not only shape it a little tiny bit, depending on the abrasiveness of the toothpaste, but also to get a really nice shine on it. And that's, like I said, I use toothpaste to achieve most of this shine, to get out the little tiny scratches you get while using sandpaper. So, and like I said, the results are hard to argue with here. I know I said I was already going to get a photo of it, but I figured I'd get a little video too. This is my super high-powered UV flashlight I use for finding uranium glass. A custom one made by me, so that way I can, it makes finding it easier. And if you see, when I pass it over this amber, it glows a green color. And like I said, it's not necessarily, if it glows, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's 100% an indicator of it being amber, but if it didn't glow, that's a definitive indicator that it's not amber. But like I said, this is raw amber. It's nothing too special. This is literally just garbage tier amber anyways, so it's not really a whole lot of point in faking it. It'd be more effort to fake it than would it be to just get real stuff. Here's the other raw amber over here, and you can see a little bit harder to pick up on the camera. Some of them have edges that glow. Instead of glowing the green, they glow like a reddish color. Let's see if any of these are a little bit better. So yeah, like this one right here has an edge that's kind of glowing reddish or a pinkish color. This one right here is glowing pinkish too. It's hard to pick up on the camera. This one you can see kind of glowing a yellowish color. So yeah, that's, like I said, it's not 100% indicator that the amber is real, but if it glows, it's an indicator that it could be real. Like I said, I already ran other tests. This amber is definitely real. So yeah, it's very, very neat material. Okay, so I wanted to show that amber can really actually be polished to a pretty decent level just using cloth. So we went to the store for a few hours, so I had some spare time, and I just spent, you know, maybe about 15 minutes aside just rubbing the amber against my pants, my pant leg. And you can see this is a side that I worked on for about 15 minutes, and you can see that it is actually pretty shiny. Like you can see my finger and stuff like that reflecting. This is a side that hasn't been worked on at all. And you can see that, like if you look at my shadow and stuff like that, it's very diffused. So you can see very sharp, very shiny, very diffused. And this is the difference between just polishing with cloth and no cloth. But right now I'm going to show you guys how to polish it using toothpaste to get that extra sheen. So I've used a couple different ways. Like one of the things is I tied a bandana around my arm and I sort of used my arm, but I think this will be a lot easier. Get these hairs out of here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a cloth, don't really care much about. I'm gonna take it, take these ends like this, get them all here, and I'm going to twist it around like so. So now I have a semi-firm surface to use to polish it. If I just need to tighten it up more, all I need to do is just twist. And the process for this is pretty simple. Like I said, these contain hydrated silica, and that hydrated silica, which doesn't say on here, but it does say on the box, the hydrated silica is very, very fine, meant for polishing your teeth, but it works good for softer stuff like this, and even you can use it to polish metal. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this toothpaste here and basically do what you might expect. I'm going to use it. And this is going to relax a little bit because it's getting wet, so I'm going to tighten it some more. I'm going to use this to polish with. And it might be a little bit sticky, in which case adding some water can help. But I'm just going to periodically add a little bit more toothpaste, tighten up my cloth here, and rinse off the amber to see how it progresses. So this is going to be my time for a little bit. So what I'm doing right now is I've twisted this real tight like this. And this might take a little bit of dexterity. There's other ways to do this too. Any way you can get a tight surface to it. But holding on to this and using my thumb to grip this, and I add a little bit of water to this so you can see it slides a lot easier now. This needs to be tightened a little bit more, so I'm just going to twist and then grip with my thumb. Oops. Much easier now that I've added a little bit of water. So yeah, so I'm going to keep doing. Yes, this is what I am talking about, guys. Look at that beautiful, beautiful finish on here. So this is after the toothpaste polishing, and basically toothpaste polishing. And basically what I did is I had one knee right here, one knee right here, my hand in the back to twist this tight, and just held it with my knees. And I did about a minute and a half on each one of these sides. So this was the one that wasn't polished before, and you can see that this is just polished with the toothpaste, and I polished all the sides again with the toothpaste. But you can see just how nice it is looking now. Now there is one other thing we can do to give this a little extra oomph, which is, and like I said, it already is looking so very nice. Like from what we started, you know, like I said, taking a raw piece of amber that looks about like this, and being able to turn it into something like this is just so nice, so nice to see. But we still have very fine micro scratches that we could either continue to polish for practically forever to get them out, or we can use a wax. Now, I can't find my straight up beeswax anywhere, but this is actually 2 parts beeswax to 1 part coconut oil. And I am going to take a little bit of that and basically work it into all the little faucets and scratches in this this piece of amber right here. The idea is that the wax goes inside and fills the little micro scratches and micro fractures and everything like that. And when we take it here, I'm going to take a cloth and basically just polish it a bit, which I'm going to probably do off camera mainly, but it should fill in all the little scratches. So I'm going to polish this a bit with some cloth off camera. I'll be back here in a second. Alright, so I end up using the wax to sort of fill in the little micro scratches a bit, and it is in fact now even shinier than it was before, which is quite a feat. This stuff looks beautiful and just absolutely beautiful in person. We did have an unfortunate event. There was a little bit of bark on this side right here that led to a fault in this piece. So what happened is I dropped it in just the right way that when I went to go polish it, it created a little fracture and it broke off this end. Not too big of a deal. I'm just going to take some sandpaper now and sand this end smooth and then repolish that edge separately. And I'll show you what it looks like finished here in a minute when I grab some photos. But like I said, going from raw amber like this into this beautiful gemstone or precious stone is just, it's something to behold. It's amazing to see. And like I said, I'll get some pictures that hopefully can do this a little bit of justice. Now, I actually don't have any real clue how to do this. I just basically took my best guess at how this would be done. So I'm sure there's better techniques out there, and of course you can use professional polishing compound and different things like that, but this was my way using just simple sandpaper, cloth, and toothpaste. To mention that too, toothpaste, some of it is more abrasive than others. I think I mentioned that earlier. Some of them have, the ones with tartar control are more abrasive to get off tartar, and certain ones with like baking soda and stuff like that might not have any abrasive at all in it, which wouldn't really work very well for polishing. But the more abrasive ones are better for earlier shaping. The less abrasive ones are typically better for a more polishing coat. So let me just fix this unfortunately broken edge here and get back with you in a minute. Alright, so we are back literally less than 5 minutes later. I had sanded down the edge real quick, then I had polished it using the toothpaste and then a little bit of wax, and you can see that it looks pretty good. Sad that that edge broke off, but is what it is. Like I said, like I said before, I like leaving the sort of wood and bark and different things like that in there to give the piece a little bit of character. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I would hold the bowl with my knee, then I keep it taut, and then I take the amber, and each side I would go like this, pretty hard on the cloth for about a minute to a minute 30 seconds. And then it's ready to be, if you want as an optional step, to be finished with some type of wax. And like I said, I used, this is beeswax mixed with a little bit of coconut oil. I prefer pure beeswax, but I couldn't really find my pure beeswax around here. But also paraffin wax might be a viable option. I'm not sure if it has any reactions with amber, but I don't believe so. So this is the now polished gemstone, and like I said, this is just some raw amber next to it for comparison. A whole bunch of raw amber here, so you can see what the raw amber looks like compared to this now finished stone. And then these are the other two pieces that I did before. I also made out of raw amber. Kind of see those ones too. You can see that they can vary from color quite drastically. Sometimes very dark, almost black, and then, you know, they can get lighter. And some of them can almost actually be clear. And they even have blue amber, I think in Brazil or something like that. That's a pretty rare one. Let me just zoom in real quick for these. So yeah, very, very cool. Grab some pictures to show you guys, but that's all there really is to it. I mean, if you get your hands on some raw amber, I paid I think I said a half a pound earlier. I didn't mean to. I paid $20. That's with shipping though. The shipping itself was like $7. I paid $20 for all this amber plus these pieces that I've already turned into polished amber. And if you get the right supplier and you buy in bulk, you could probably get it an even better deal than I had. This, like I said, was just I needed it for PCRT, and I figured why not get some extra stuff. If I got a single piece of amber like this polished amber, I'd probably be paying like $30 for it. The polished amber is very expensive, and like I said, I needed it for PCRT, so I needed to convert it into a powder to test anyways. And I just got it. I just like, you know what? I need to make some polished amber. I think it would be so cool to do. And I was very much correct, as I am in love with how this looks so far. So anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned anything from it, please remember to hit that like button, to please subscribe if you haven't already. You can also click that bell notification icon to get updated on all my new videos, all my new content that has been released. I appreciate you guys watching, and if you have any suggestions for future videos, or you just want to leave a comment to say hi, then feel free to do so in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys watching, and bye.